Once again, welcome to another edition of the Coach's Corner, live here from the Tivoli Tap House. I'm John Kietzmann, the Associate Director of Athletics here at MSU Denver, to take you through another episode. And come on down here and join us here at the Tivoli Tap House. We've got a lot of great food, great drinks. It's going to be a raucous good time here right before the holiday season, and we have a lineup for you tonight. So we're talking Roadrunners basketball, and first off, we're going to talk with head coach Tanya Haave of the women's basketball team. They're coming off of two big wins in the RMAC here on the road this last weekend, and not to be outdone. The men's basketball program also picked up two victories, one over the number 6 team in the nation. So join us here with Michael Bahl tonight. But before we get into all that, we're going to throw it over to our own Eric Lansing to go over this past weekend's interviews and highlights.
Thanks, John. What a weekend for Roadrunners basketball. We'll start things off in Golden, where both Orediggers team came in undefeated in the Rocky Mountain Athletic Conference. Let's start with the women. Head coach Tanya Haave and her team came into the weekend with a 2-2 conference mark, and we're looking for that statement win over a top RMAC squad. Mine sported a 4-0 record and led the RMAC in rebounding, so you knew it was going to be quite the battle. Mine's best player, Nicole Archambault, who averages a double-double on the season, paced the Orediggers in the first half, scoring 6 points, but would finish with only 9 points and 8 rebounds for the entire game. The Roadrunners' best player, Georgia Ordorf, picked up 2 early fouls and would have to sit for most of the first half. But her forward counterpart, Emily Hardigan, stepped up in a big way, dropping in 8 points while grabbing 5 rebounds in the first 20 minutes of action. MSU Denver would enter halftime with a 6-point lead. Into the second half, and the home team wouldn't go away. All-conference guard Emily Bailey found her rhythm, scoring 14 of her 17 points in the second frame. She would carry her team to within 1 of Coach Haave's squad. But then the big guns came through in the clutch for the Roadrunners. After a tough start, Ordorf picked up her game in the second half and would finish with 15 points and 13 rebounds. Jalen Smith, I'll take that, thank you. She finished 1 rebound and 3 assists shy of a triple-double. And how about Emily Hardigan, who seems to be all the way back from her leg injury from last season, scoring 16 points while pulling down 7 boards and dishing out 2 assists, while also coming away with 2 steals. The Roadrunners win the day, taking down the Orediggers 74-61. Coach Haave and Emily Hardigan tells us how big this win actually was.
Just wanted to get the win. We're tired of splitting games, and we don't want to lose much more, and we're ready for this season.
Talk about how rebounds, you guys are such a great rebounding team. They're a good rebounding team. You got rebounded them both defensively and offensively. How did that play a factor in the game, you think?
It's big. Like, getting an offensive board, that just crushes the team. So, we just kept getting boards. We out-rebounded them. This is big.
Well, just the way that we played the game, the way we approached the game was some passion, some energy, and some enthusiasm. And I think we can do a lot of things if we'll do that. So that's, we could have lost this game, but if we play like that, I don't know if we're going to lose many games if we approach games like that. It wasn't a perfect game by any stretch of the imagination. And I think Emily Hardigan led the charge. She's got that passion, she's got that competitiveness, so I think they followed her lead.
Rebounding was such a big part of this game. They're a good rebounding team, you're a good rebounding team, but you guys killed them on the offensive glass. How did that play a factor for you guys today?
I think it was the difference in the game, honestly. If our shots aren't falling, especially on the road. When you're on the road, you're in a gym and a basket where you're not sure of, things you're not sure of, or surroundings you're not sure of, I guess I should say. Then offensive rebounds, and then you get easy putbacks. That takes a lot of pressure off your half-court offense or your transition offense in general. So I think it was the difference in the game for us, really. Oh, absolutely. This is a hard place to play. Even though it's in Denver, this is a hard gym for us. It's always been traditionally. And for us to have the lead that we had and that we never lost our composure and to be able to keep, like you said, we hit timely shots, we made timely plays. We're going to have to continue to do that. I thought Michaela Gordon came in off the bench as well. She had 11 rebounds. Georgia Ordorf in the second half really was big after having those 2 fouls. So it was nice to see even Squires, our juniors and seniors leading us now. It's what that needs to continue to happen.
The Roadrunners would take Sunday's game as well, defeating Colorado Christian 56-43. Jalen Smith lit up the stat sheet once again, scoring 12 points, grabbing 9 rebounds, and handing out 5 assists. MSU Denver is now 4-2 in the RMAC and 8-4 overall on the season. Now for the men, and they were off to a good start in conference, coming in with a 3-1 RMAC mark. The Ore Diggers, on the other hand, they were undefeated in conference at 4-0 and undefeated on the season at 10-0. And guess what? They were ranked 6th in the nation. So needless to say, they're a pretty good team. If you didn't know the name Mason Baker before this game, you'll remember it now, as the redshirt freshman exploded for 19 first-half points. It didn't seem to matter where on the floor he was taking his shots, they were going in. Preseason all-conference guard Cameron Williams carried the offense in the first half, scoring 9 points on his way to a team-high 26. There's not a better finisher in the RMAC than Cam Bam Williams. Mines holds a 3-point lead at the break. Baker continues his masterful day from the field. He would finish with a game-high and career-high 31 points on 9 of 16 shooting. He was really the lone offensive threat for the Ore Diggers all game. It was a 4-point lead for the hometown Ore Diggers. Then the Roadrunners offense figured things out. Senior Bunama Keita had a great game for the Roadrunners, piling in 8 points, including a couple of dunks that energized the bench. Cam Williams was doing his thing in transition, and Peter Mueller also had a great second half, scoring 10 of his 12 points in the final frame. Mines would cut Metro's lead within 2 with a minute left to go. But senior Shane Fox hit a big-time three-pointer to push it back out to 5. Mueller put on the finishing touches, and MSU Denver upsets the 6th-ranked team in the nation 67-60. Here's what Coach Bahl, Shane Fox, and Cameron Williams had to say about the big win.
You know, I couldn't just – it's all about the guys, man. And I get emotional because they bought in so much to what we try to do, and it's just about those 16 guys in that locker room. We started 0-5. We could have gone 2 ways. We could have either gone south or up north. And it's our seniors, you know, big plays down the stretch. Shane Fox, you know, big 3, big layup. Cameron Williams, Peter Mueller, Bunama Keita. You know, it's just an all-around team effort. But I feel more emotional for the guys to validate all the hard work they've done. You know, with saying that, though, I told them in the locker room, our job's not done. You know, we have to validate tomorrow to say that, you know, this was a good win. It just wasn't a fluke. Metro's on the rise, and it starts tomorrow with that backup game against Christian.
You know, this Mines team averages about 84 points a game. You held them to 60 as one of, I think, their lowest point total of the season. What was working well for you guys defensively to really keep them in check?
You know, I thought it was just a toughness thing. You know, we made a huge emphasis. Carter School Mines is a good team. I mean, they're the team to beat in our conference, and they still are. You know, but we made a huge emphasis of not allowing them the ball inside. You know, we told our bigs that it's basically a 5-on-5 game, meaning it's our 5s versus their 5s. You know, we cannot allow their 5s to get easy catches. They beat you inside. They don't beat you by the 3. You know, so we made a huge emphasis of not letting them get easy touches inside, and I think it bothered them, to be honest with you.
You know, just the overall team victory. It feels good. You know, in my 3 years, that was our first win, so it's a good monkey off our back. But we came in the game. We knew we had confidence that we could get it done. So,
Coach was telling me a lot of preparation went into this game. Just how proud you are of the team to see all the work, all the practice, all the scouting from the assistant coaches, putting you guys in a position to pull off the upset today.
Well, I mean, it was a great job. Our coaches put us in spots, and you know, we play Mines 3 times a year every year, so we know these guys a lot. So it all came together tonight, and it was great.
Can you take me through your shot, your 3-point shot? I mean, a senior guy, Colorado kid. Is it one of the bigger shots you've hit in your career here?
Yeah, I'd say so. I mean, I'm always ready for it, but Peter drove and kicked it out, and I'm ready. Let it fly.
It's a good win. We got a game tomorrow, so we can't get all happy about this win. We got to go finish the job tomorrow.
You know, Coach was telling me, like, you guys put a lot of time in practice, scouting, figuring out how to slow these guys down. How proud are you of the team to kind of come through and do what you did all week long in practice and putting it out there on the court today?
Just like Coach said in the locker room, it's expected. We expected to win this game. We started out rough. We played a tough road schedule, so we expected to win this game, no doubt in our minds.
The Roadrunners stayed grounded after their Mines win and carried their momentum to defeat Colorado Christian by 20 the following day. Mueller had a game-high 18 points, while Alec Williams came through off the bench, scoring a season-high 17. MSU Denver now sits at 5-1 in the RMAC as they head towards their holiday break. And speaking of breaks, we'll take one right now. But stay close. John will be right back with women's basketball head coach Tanya Haave to talk about her big wins on the weekend. You're watching the Coach's Corner.
I'm Anthony Grant, Director of Athletics at MSU Denver.
It's because of your generosity and support that our athletic programs have been able to achieve sustained success and continue to be one of the top athletic departments in the nation.
And you're watching the Coach's Corner. Get rowdy.
Once again, welcome back to the Tivoli Tap House here for the Coach's Corner. Before we get into our first guest here, what we're going to do is we're going to talk a little bit about those holiday plans that you've got coming up here in the next couple of weeks. So be sure to book your holiday party at the Tivoli Tap House. You get 30% off on food and beverage. Be sure to contact Steph. Visit TivoliBrewingCo.com, TivoliBrewingCo.com, and don't forget, the Tivoli Tap House, they are open over this holiday break from the 27th through the 31st. So you want to stop on down here before that Avalanche, Nuggets, or even that Roadrunners game. So make your way down to the Tivoli Tap House. But now we're going to bring on to our guest, Tanya Haave, head women's basketball coach of the Roadrunners. Tanya, welcome.
Welcome to you. This is a new host. It's great to have you here.
Hey, we're having all sorts of fun here tonight. So
awesome.
So be gentle to me if you would, please, a little bit.
Only if you're gentle to me.
I can definitely handle that. So starting off, Tanya, last week you mentioned that the only thing you wanted for Christmas was 2 road wins here this last weekend. Clearly, you were on Santa's nice list, and you got your 2 road wins.
I must have been good this year. I must have been good.
I think you were definitely good. So what do these wins mean to your team here on this opening road weekend? Well, I guess it's the second road weekend now in the RMAC.
But it's the first 2 of 5 straight on the road for us. So it was really, really important, especially how we played the weekend before, to really come back and try and establish something before the break, establish getting back to playing our brand of basketball. So it was really, really important. And how we came out Saturday was just great. So, yeah, my Christmas is over because I've got my 2 gifts.
Well,
Santa came early.
Speaking of Saturday, let's talk about that game a little bit. What was your game plan going into that matchup with the Colorado School of Mines? Because they had a 4-0 record in the RMAC, and here you come into what has potentially been a tough environment going just across the cross city to Golden. So what was your game plan going into this game?
Well, you're right. It's always been a tough place for us to play well in, and we've had some success there, but not recently. I don't know, last year I don't think we beat them there. They had been averaging 80 points a game, and a lot of it was transition, and then it was containing their big 3, 33, number 5, Emily Bailey, and then Nicole Archambault. The only reason I don't know number 33's name is I can't pronounce her name, but so is the big 3. So it was a lot of their transition defense. And just for us to have an aggressive mindset with just going for it on the defensive end, on the offensive end. So that was the game plan, more so on the defensive end to limit their transition baskets and for us to be able to get good shots and get assisted baskets.
Well, so speaking of that aggressive play, rebounding clearly a key in that game. Put up 32 rebounds in the first half alone. You ended up out-rebounding Colorado School of Mines 56-34 in the game. So when you start looking at how that kind of laid out, and was your intent to actually attack the glass that hard, or did it just happen naturally as part of the game plan?
Well, we knew they were a good rebounding team. They were the number 1 rebounding team in the RMAC going in, so rebounding definitely was a focus of ours. We didn't particularly work on it in practice, but I think it started with Emily Hardigan. I mean, we had 13 offensive rebounds at halftime, and I think that really took its toll on them, and then we just continued that in the second half, and we were able to keep them off the offensive glass as well.
So speaking of Emily Hardigan, she was a very big spark in the game for you, both offensively and defensively. She had 16 points in the contest. We heard from her earlier here on the show during some interviews. What did she mean to the team during this game here on this past Saturday?
Well, I think she meant a lot. I mean, she's coming back from an injury, so she was kind of feeling probably her knee out, feeling the timing, getting some timing back. So you see every week it's getting better, and she just led us from a competitive standpoint of our starters, and they followed her. We followed Emily's intensity, competitiveness. And she can score, and she can do it on both ends of the floor, and she won't back down to anyone. So that was really, really key for us, I felt.
So Colorado Mines, they made a comeback. They kept kind of trying to chip away and get a little bit closer, but you hit big shot after big shot after big shot. So what does that mean from a mindset from your team? Like, what are they looking for when they're hitting those shots, even when the game is tight like that? We've seen other games go different directions.
I think it's evidence that we're growing up, because they came to Mines, got within 3, I think 49-46. You could see a little bit. We had a timeout, and everybody, hey, we're okay. So we just trusted ourselves and trusted each other, and were able to get good shots and got some stops, and just was able to expand that lead again. But no question, hit some key shots where before some people will come at us, especially on the road, we might fold. So that was good to see that growth, and so that's another reason why these games, to be successful this weekend, were so big for us.
So speaking of big games, would you say that Colorado School of Mines was a statement game for the Roadrunners?
I would say so. At this point in the season, without a doubt. I mean, after not playing well on our home opener and then struggling to beat Chadron at home, and then we go back to the week before, Black Hills, having them take it to us to kind of get some of our momentum back. Absolutely. At this time of the year, it was a statement game.
So now, advancing to Sunday, you come off of that big win, you get your victory at Colorado School of Mines. Emotions are riding high. You go in now and you're going to play Colorado Christian. What do you tell the team between games, even maybe post-game or pre-game, to get them refocused for that next matchup?
I wanted them to enjoy the victory on Saturday. So we came in Sunday morning, not early, but right before we were going to go have pregame, our pregame meal, and I just said, you cannot take this team lightly. I did tell them the day before that we were done splitting games in conference. It was time to quit splitting games. It was time to sweep a weekend, and that I put that bug in there. I did say something about the game actually on Saturday, but I did put the bug in their ear that we weren't going to split the weekends. That's not good enough. And so then the next day, fast forward to the next day, it was, you can't take this team lightly. We'd already seen them at our Thanksgiving tournament. They'd seen some of the results. So players kind of know what they might think. They know it's a younger team. And I said, if you take this team lightly, we will not be successful. And they took us at our word, which was nice.
So, Tanya, your defensive intensity kept up from that Saturday matchup to Sunday. I mean, you came out in the first quarter against Colorado Christian on Sunday. You only allowed 5 points. You clearly came out firing. So when you start looking at that, and you ended up building up a double-digit lead. What do you tell the team at halftime? Because again, we've seen situations where the Roadrunners will come out, they'll play a strong quarter, but then they might let off the gas pedal a little bit. So what did you tell the team at halftime?
Well, I was upset at halftime actually, because I had put in a couple of reserves. And we had given up 5 quick points in the last minute. It was they had 13 points going into the last minute, and to give up back-to-back, give up a 3 and give up a 2 and going at 18 points. Granted, we were still ahead by 8. I was still upset. So I think that kept them on track. At least I hope so. So we were able to always have a comfortable lead. But that's what I told them at halftime, is that we cannot, like you said, we have a tendency to, maybe we're too nice, we're let up, but. Yeah, I think I made my point at halftime that we needed to stay with this and stay on it. It didn't matter.
You did. You clearly did. You came out in the third quarter. You put the gas on, and you ended up closing out the game to pick up 2 big wins. So now game is over. You've got your 2 road wins. You're headed to the holiday break. A number of players have already taken off for the holiday break. What are you telling the team now over this next little couple days here? What did you say to them to get them relaxed for the break, but then to get them focused again for when they're coming back here to play Colorado Mesa in a week?
Yeah, it's kind of like what you just said. Hey, have fun. But I did say, hey, you've earned some time off. I think we all need some time off to relax, have fun for a few days. They have a little bit more time than usual off. Usually we give them 7 days. The way the calendar fell and per NCAA rules, they've got 9 days off. I said, so take some time off, but also you've got to stay in shape. And we've got to come back, because we come back on Wednesday the 27th. We're leaving on that Friday, and we play Saturday at Mesa. So it was really important. The good news is everybody else is in the same boat we are. we do have a veteran team. I expect them to come back, and it will be, that first day will be rough, but I think they'll get their legs back pretty quick. So enjoy it, but also take some time where you get some running in or get some shots up or things like that.
Well, Tanya, congratulations on the two big road wins. 4-2 in the league and sitting in a pretty good spot, tied for third right now. So I hope you enjoy some time off over the holiday break, and we'll look to see you back here at the beginning of 2018.
Great, thank you. Great job today.
Hey,
you did fantastic.
Just hanging on for what I can.
Come back all the time? You're going to come back all the time?
Well, I don't know if we're going to make that happen, but we'll see what happens. So we're going to be right back, though, here on the Coach's Corner.
I'm Janae Squires-Horton, senior guard for the women's basketball team.
Squires-Horton swishes the long two, and it's a 3-point lead.
And you're watching the Coach's Corner. Get rowdy. I'm Jalen Smith, junior guard for the women's basketball team.
And the Roadrunners coming back in transition. Smith all the way to the rack, coast to coast.
And you're watching Coach's Corner. Get rowdy.
Welcome back to the Tivoli Tap House, live here for the Coach's Corner. We're going to jump on into some stuff before we get to head coach Michael Bahl and the men's basketball program. Want to make sure that you're following MSU Denver and the Roadrunners on Facebook. You can type in Metro State Roadrunners or MSU Denver Roadrunners. Either one will work. Follow along for all of the latest news, notes, and events on Facebook. And don't forget to download that Roadrunner Rewards app to check in for all those Roadrunners events. So now we're joined here by head men's basketball coach Michael Bahl. Michael, pleasure to have you with us tonight.
No, thanks for having me, John.
Hey, I'm glad that you can join us here right before the holiday break. Had a very, very successful weekend, I would say, here this last weekend, defeating the number 6 team in the nation in the Colorado School of Mines. You know, Michael, let's start with that game first. What was the week of practice like leading up to that game? Because your team really came out to play to take on that top team.
You know, I think a lot of it was finals week. It was final week for almost every school in the country, so we didn't actually get as much practice time as we typically would. But I thought we have an older group. I mean, we returned 9 players. We counted on almost all 9, and they did a great job when we had practice. That they were really focused. And to be all honest, when you play at Colorado School of Mines, really any school in Denver, you know, it's a rivalry game. So I mean, there's no needed to put any more emphasis on this than any other game. So the guys are really focused, and we haven't beat Colorado School of Mines in over 2.5 years. So I think that alone sort of help motivate us through the week of practice.
Well, so speaking of that motivation, that actually leads me directly into my next question for you. The last time that we were on that floor was to end the season last year in the conference tournament in the semifinals. So do you use that as motivation to get this team up, or is this a brand new set of guys and they don't necessarily get motivated in that same way from a historical standpoint?
You know, I don't think we're in a position as a program, or really any program, to really, you know, put anything more onto a game than what it is. You know, meaning I told the guys when we played Regis, that was the biggest game of our season. And the next time we played Chadron, that's the biggest game of our season. It just so happened that the Colorado School of Mines was next on our schedule. So in our eyes, we put all of our emphasis on that game, and that was the biggest game of our season, you know, at that point. But then on Sunday, it goes to Colorado Christian. So I know it's coach speak, but we really try to take it one step at a time, just because we haven't had the most success versus Colorado School of Mines over the past 4 or 5 years, to be honest with you. You know, they're the king of the conference right now, and, you know, would do so. Coach Orsi does a phenomenal job, and I just thought our guys, you know, did a great job of focusing on exactly what we needed to do, and they stuck with what makes us good, you know.
Well, so speaking of what makes you good, I know you spoke with our own Eric Lansing a little while earlier, talked about a little bit of a game plan and what you would plan to do. Your emphasis was to not let them score in the paint, to not let them get down low and get those easy baskets, and you actually allowed them only 20 points in the paint out of their total 60 for the game. So what did your plan come to fruition, I guess, is my first question. You know, did that actually execute like you had hoped?
I thought we did a phenomenal job of just being really physical in the post. They have some really good players. I mean, they're number 6 in the country for a reason, defending regional champ. But I think we have pretty good players too. You know, in Bunama Keita, Jaron, Taylor, and some of our other players. But their guards post up just as much as their bigs. And I thought our guards took the challenge of, you know what, we have to push them off their spots. If they catch the ball on the block, they're too good, you know, that close to the basket. So we knew we weren't going to stop them from completely catching the basketball, but if we can push them off their spots, so now they're catching it at 15 feet instead of 10 feet, you know, that sort of disrupts their rhythm, and I think it worked for us.
So you held the team that was averaging over 80 points a game, similar to what Tanya just did with the women's team. You held a team that was averaging over 80 to 60 points. And of those 60, 31 came off of a guy off the bench. So 22 points only by their starting lineup. When the game is unfolding the way it is, what's going through your mind as that game's going on? Because you did trail at the half, but you managed to put up 44 in that second half.
Yeah. I think obviously I didn't like losing my first 5 games. We were 0-5. But I really think we learned a ton from those first 5 games. You know, we were ahead at all 5 of those contests at halftime, and then we just couldn't close it out like we needed to. So I think having that in our back pocket, that, you know what, guys, we've been here before. We've gone down the road of, you know what, letting teams back in. So when we did get the lead, you know, the biggest thing was just controlling our emotions. The game was not over at the 8-minute mark when we were up by 10. It's not over. And it's actually just started. You know, we were at Tarleton State, we were up 14 with 10 minutes left, and we ended up losing by 10. Yeah. You know, that's a 24-point swing. So I think our guys did a pretty good job of just staying focused on the task at hand. You know, it's next play, and we haven't done anything until the final buzzer sounds. You know, and our guys stuck with that.
Well, and defensively you played out of your mind. You end up allowing only 6 3-pointers made on the entire weekend. I think they were 6 of 38. So was it your interior defense that was just so good, or were they throwing the ball out and you just basically said, hey, you got to beat us with the 3? What was the combination that happened there?
You know, I think a lot of times when you look at the game, like the Cardinal School Mines, they don't beat you by the 3. They beat you by the interior shot. Then what happens is you overreact to those shots, and then all of a sudden you leave the shooters, so now they're inside-out 3s. Anytime you have inside-out 3s, you typically will shoot 17 to 20% better than if the ball never goes inside. You know, so in our mind, we knew we had to stop the ball from going inside. That's how they beat you, right? So we did a pretty good job. Again, we kept the ball on the perimeter and it put pressure on their guards to really make plays. And I think we are, if not one of, the best defensive teams in the conference. You know, our guys really take pride in, you know, making sure their man doesn't go by him. Yes, it's really as simple as that. It's nothing fancy. You know, defense is nothing that's crazy or anything that you haven't seen before. It's as simple as it is. Don't let your man score, and our guys took it to heart.
Well, speaking of emotion, you touched base on this earlier. How do you, now going into that, you get that big win, you beat the number 6 team, you watch the interviews after the game. There is some emotion, but at the same time, it's not a lot of jumping up, high fives, hugging. It's not that type of emotion. How do you keep that emotion in check going into that Sunday competition against Colorado Christian, who is maybe not necessarily at the top of the league?
Sure. You know, I mean, we tell our guys this all the time. Anytime you play on the road, doesn't matter if it's in conference or out of conference, that you're literally 10 to 15 points down right off the bat. Teams typically will play better when they're at home, just like we play better when we're at home. So our guys knew that, I mean, we expected to beat the Cardinal School Mines. As crazy as that sounds, we're a really good team. And it was not a surprise to us and the 16 guys in that locker room because we expected to beat them. We expect to beat everyone on our schedule. But again, when you play the number 6 team in the country and then you go back and you play a team that struggled this year, and Coach Hero does a phenomenal job at Colorado Christian, they're going to be really good in a couple years. But we lost to them twice last year. You know, it's been over a year and a half since we beat them. You know, so that's always in the back of our mind. And as a coach, you always throw that out there saying, man, what have we done? Last time I checked, they beat us last year at their place. You know, so that internal motivation with 9 guys returning, they know that. You know, so that does help, you know, especially you don't want to have a letdown on the second night.
Well, Coach, you got the win on both Saturday and Sunday. You started off 0-5, like you mentioned. You're 6-1 in your last 7 games. Tremendous turnaround here in the middle of the season. Well, Coach, thank you so much for joining us. Congratulations on a great finish to 2017, and wish you the best over this holiday break entering 2018.
No, appreciate it. Thanks, John.
So we're going to wrap it up here from the Coach's Corner in the Tivoli Tap House. We wish everybody a happy holiday season, and a reminder, we're off the next couple weeks. We're taking our own holiday break, but we'll be right back here in 2018, live from the Tivoli Tap House. Have a good night and get rowdy.